Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan, and today I'm continuing my Disney movie marathon. So today I'm going to be reviewing one of the live action films, and it's the one titled Mom Got a Date with the Vampire. And no, don't be thinking that this is going to be like one of those Twilight movies. This movie does have some dignity. Anyway, folks, so I just thought I would review this film. We get some talking about a bunch of Disney films. Mom's Got a Date with the Vampire is a 2000 American made for television horror comedy type of a movie for for that kind of a thing. So I guess I'm going into the vampire genre for a bit. So I'll use that as an excuse to talk about this kind of a thing because why not? And it's been a while since I've spoken about uh, vampire related movie. I mean, yeah, it's been a good long while already. So anyway, I guess killed two birds with one stone, as they would say. Talk about some Disney related and talk about that too. So yeah, whatever, I guess. So yeah, I don't review made for television movies that often, really, because a lot of these aren't very good. But anyway, regardless, I'm gonna be talking about the story. So let's talk about the plot, shall we? So here we go, folks. So yeah. But anyway, like the title may suggest, it's going to be centered around a family and whatnot. There's this 13-year-old character and his best friend. They do have some tickets for the Headless Horseman concert, and his sister, whom is 16, has a date with her dreamy boyfriend, of course. And yeah, okay, everything seems to be a okay. But the thing is that seems to be a problem here because the issue is that both of these individuals are grounded. Because one thing is that the younger sibling is is being punished because he did not complete his homework. Instead making up a story using some sort of article or whatever. And then for the older sister, yeah, but it's pretty much because she called him a dweeb, I guess. Which their mother did happen to hear and didn't like, having the siblings call each other names or whatever. So, yeah. Of course, suddenly there's like a mysterious man that comes into their lives, and yeah, as you can guess, vampire. Of course, that comes into play, obviously. So, the thing is that everything seems to be going according to plan, and until the their 8-year-old brother realizes that the person she's with is a vampire, like I said a moment ago. His brother and sister, like the two characters we mentioned a moment ago, do not believe him, of course. So let's just say that, as you can guess, a vampire hunter is brought upon, of course. And that night, that their mother goes out with these, mysterious man, the youngest sibling does follow them, of course, not wanting their mother to come home and extend the punishments and whatnot. And of course, they follow the younger brother as well, of course. So yeah, this becomes a pretty wild ride for the characters. Well, obviously, there's going to be some grand adventure for these characters, of course. So overall, that's basically what's going on here, folks. But that's fine by me, of course, because that's typical of Disney. Obviously, it's what they would do to make it as adventurous in their own little way. But of course, for the family and whatnot. This is something I didn't expect him to actually do when it comes to these kinds of movies, really. But yeah, like I said before, when it comes to the made-for-television type movies, I tend to ignore them because I don't like them, especially from the Disney Channel. I know they made a lot of lower quality movies when it comes to the Disney Channel and all that, but thankfully this was definitely one of their better movies from the made-for-television market. And you can tell there's some actual decent effort into this. I mean, not to say that this was some grand masterpiece or anything, but this was a solid enough film to actually have some pretty good storytelling. It's serviceable, I guess. And I mean, why the premise of the film doesn't exactly try to do anything new, really, but it is coherent. The characters are consistent with their personalities throughout the entire movie. Nobody ever feels like they did anything out of character. So it's pretty much what you might expect from a Disney movie on Disney Channel, but except it's better than some of the other stuff I've seen. But yeah, just so you know, don't expect me to do reviews for the direct-to-video or the made-for-television programming type of thing for Disney that often. Because, like I said, I tend to avoid these like the plague. But this was definitely one of the better films that they made over the years. I mean, this was, what, 20 years old already? But, still, it's considered as a really old movie at this point. But whatever, I guess. So overall, this had its moments. It's not something I hated or whatever. So I didn't cringe throughout the entire movie like I did with some movies from this channel and whatnot. But there you go. Well, it's not exactly something I was expecting, really. But for what it's worth, at the end of the day, you can do worse than this. You can do much worse. So it's a sort of attempt to have some sort of like vampire horror kind of a thing going on, but aiming for the entire family. So yes, it's gonna feel like it's gonna be watered down compared to some other type like movies similar to this. So just keep in mind, folks, it'll be tame compared to the other stuff I've already viewed from this genre of movies. But like I said, for what it's worth, you can do a lot worse than this because they made worse, matter of fact. But anyway, I did. I would recommend if you want something maybe that's not so heavy. When it comes to like politics or anything, something that feels a bit more light. I suggest watching this. I suppose because it's serviceable. The plot itself is fairly straightforward. There's nothing too deep going on really. It's like I said, it's supposed to be like a horror comedy or whatever from the Disney Channel back in the early 2000s. And it does tell the story of these two kids who want to set their mother on a date as a result of the fact that she hasn't been in a relationship ever since her divorce. So yeah, there's a bit of a backstory there. But the thing is that when the two young teenagers find out that they are grounded, the boy finds an ad on looking for love and chooses this individual. However, let's just say that one day that at a supermarket where their mom bumps into this man, and this man seems a bit suspicious, like we're saying, the two hit it off of course, and kids are delighted with that. But, of course, judging by the title of the film, you already know what's going to happen next, of course. One of the kids did spot him changing into like some sort of bat or whatever in a alley, and of course must stop him before he has their mother under the spell. Yeah, okay, like I said, the premise isn't exactly all that special, really, but like I said, it does what it's supposed to be doing. It does its job, I guess. Yeah, so I would say I suggest check this movie out, folks, yeah, if you haven't yet. So, as for the acting here is passable. And you can tell the actors and actresses enjoyed what they were doing here, like as a whole. And I didn't think anybody really stand out per se, but you can still tell that everybody involved in this really enjoyed themselves, like they were actually having fun. And that's probably the best way to look at this, folks. And if the acting was definitely, I guess in other words, serviceable. It doesn't do anything like Shakespearean like, but it's serviceable. I did like what they were trying to go for, trying to give the characters their own personality and whatnot. And I mean, not that I was expecting much from a movie like this anyway, because it's a made for television film. So there's that. Folks, for what it's worth, like I say, the acting was pretty good. Yeah, even though the story itself, the characters, they are pretty, predictable in their own way. So they don't do anything special really, but the acting, like I said, from everyone, they do put a decent job overall. It's a pretty enjoyable film, and overall, I definitely something I would say it's something you can watch. The plot itself, like I was mentioning earlier, is pretty paper thin. Really, it doesn't try to do anything deep, really, like anything super deep, really. So just keep that in mind. But the actors and actresses were trying to just do with what they had, with the material they have, the overall plot. So the the writing for the dialogue, also it's nothing special either, but the dialogue was actually pretty good, really, for what it's worth. Again, not that I was expecting all that much, really, from here, folks, but they were trying to make it seem like they were trying to make these characters seem relatable. That's why a lot of these Disney movies that tend to have this, like the family be all together, and then they will come across this thing, this conflict, I guess you can call it, and they have to work together as a way to fix this problem that they may have and whatnot. So, in other words, it's definitely your typical Disney affair. It's pretty much what you expected, I guess. So, yeah, it does have its own moments, I guess. Yeah, it's extremely corny, yes. Yes, very corny. It's very cheesy, yes. But it's not to the point where it actually ruins it for me. So that's something I suppose. It doesn't ruin it for me entirely, really. But overall, I can say that this was something. I can say it's definitely better than some of their recent stuff, I guess, because a lot of the recent movies don't have. I mean, in their in the program, in their direct to video or their made for television kind of stuff is definitely better than a lot of the stuff I've watched already. This movie was pretty entertaining in its own little way, and it's funny in its own little way, I guess. So yeah, definitely something I can say that they had to walk around the limitations and what they were having this film. So yeah, just keep that in mind, folks. I'd definitely say it's something you can watch with your whole family or just by yourself if you want. And if you have some other friends who like Disney, you can watch it with them if you want. Or just, if you're just a Disney fanatic on your own, I suggest this too. Even if you might watch it by yourself. So I can definitely say that this was something that was definitely okay, was fun in its own little way. Because, yeah, I mean, yes, they do all the typical things you might expect. The special effects, okay, this is something I didn't want to really talk about, really, because, like I said, this is a TV made film specifically just to be aired on television and nowhere else. No theater release, nothing. Just a TV made movie. That's it. Specifically for this programming for Disney Channel. But yeah, of course the budget is not going to be all that high. I mean, compared to nowadays, yeah, the special effects is kind of bad. When you think about it, yeah, I'll say that, but just keep that in mind, folks. Just keep in mind, the special effects are not going to be some high-end art or anything like you might expect from some other movies. That's quite understandable because, like I said, this is something made for specifically just for television. Of course, the the Disney Studios is not going to want to fork over a bunch of money for this kind of a thing. Understandably so, but I guess for that, the special effects are decent. You've considered that. So yeah, don't expect this to be some super fancy special effects movie ride kind of a thing. That's definitely not the case here, folks. All right, let's wrap things up because this video has gone long enough, I guess. So yeah, I would say it's not bad. No, I've seen better, I've seen worse, but you can do better than this, and you can do worse. I didn't hate it. It didn't piss me off like some movies have lately. So that's a plus, I guess. When it comes to kids, I usually find them annoying, but in this case, not really. They're not that annoying. I expect them usually they are. But yeah, it's not terrible. It's not terrible, no. So yeah, folks, the pacing the pacing of this film was solid as well, of course. As top of that, I mean, it's nothing super fast paced or anything, but for what they had, I can say the pacing was solid. They're trying to have some sort of family drama kind of a thing, I guess. So that's something, I guess. Trying to have some sort of drama, trying to have this family go through this wild adventure, I guess. And that's something, I suppose. Gonna have some sort of coherent narrative going on through this entire thing. But alright, blah 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 blah. I will give this film an overall rating of a 6.5 out of 10. Give it a 6.5 out of 10, folks. So, of course, as always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh, yeah.
We're moments away from losing this battle. Heads up, grenade!